Start off by letting you know I'm DJ Ray. I do these live shows every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. On TikTok and as of last week on Facebook as well. So wherever you like to watch your lives, TikTok or Facebook. Eventually I'm going to be doing YouTube as well, but for now we're up to two. So yeah, whatever platform is better for you, TikTok or Facebook. I'm here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. My show's called DJ Ray's Music Goats. Of course, the GOAT standing for the greatest of all time. So every week we have a different music theme, and I crown a new champion every week for that theme. This week's theme is the greatest 80s song of all time. Well, I guess of all time of that decade, but anyway, still all time. So yeah, what is the greatest 1980s song? And when I say that, I mean anything that was released from 1980, January 1st, 1980 to December 31st, 1989. There's lots of excellent tunes to choose from, Teddy. This was probably my most difficult one to put together because of what you just said there. Tons. By the way, Thunderstruck is in the 90s. Came out in the 90s, so there's other AC/DC songs, but Thunderstruck came out in the 90s, I believe. It look pretty bad if no, I'm pretty certain it came out in the early 90s. Thriller's definitely 80s. Got 80s written all over it. Highway to Hell's 80s. So, with that said, I want to jump into this week's episode of Music Goats, the greatest 80s song of all time. And just one more thing before we get started. We do something fun here every week where I ask you guys to choose who you think is or in this case, what you think is the number one 80s song ever. So just for fun, but at the end, we'll see whatever I chose as number one. If you matched it, you're the winner. No big prize involved or anything, but all in fun. We're all friends and family here, and let's get started, okay? So, again, I'm DJ Ray. Welcome to my live DJ Ray's Music Goats. We're going to look for tonight's GOAT, the greatest 80s song of all time. So let's get kicking it in here. Coming in at number 20, Tainted Love by Soft Cell. Although it was originally recorded by Gloria Jones in 1964, it was Soft Cell's 1981 version that took the world by storm. Although some may consider this new wave group to be something of a one-hit wonder, sometimes it just takes that one hit to put you over the top. And this is it. Once you're there, it's up to you and your talent to stay there. Because our theme today is about the greatest songs of all time, not the greatest artists. Sorry, the greatest 80s songs of all time, not the greatest artists. Tainted Love by Soft Cell stands as a pioneer during the Second British Invasion. In case you're not familiar with the Second British Invasion, the first one, I'm sure you all know, happened in 1964 with the Beatles, Stones, Dave Clark 5, etc. And the Second British Invasion, which doesn't get as much attention, happened in the early 80s with the new wave boom of bands like Soft Cell and Human League and Duran Duran and Paul Young. The list goes on and on. Brought their form of new wave over, and it was the Second British Invasion. Yeah, didn't really go over as big as the first one, but it had its moments. Thanks to a memorable appearance on BBC's Top of the Pops TV show, Tainted Love made an almost effortless ascent to the top of the UK charts. That's a good choice, Teddy. Want to know what love is, foreigner? Tainted Love also topped many other charts around the world, including South Africa, Belgium, West Germany, Australia, and of course Canada. So yeah, number 20 song, greatest 80s song of all time, goes to Soft Cell and Tainted Love. I see the picks coming in. Keep coming, guys. Who can guess what the number one 80s song? That's pretty impressive because like everyone was saying, there's so many to choose from. And this one is not hard, but I don't think anyone's going to get it. But I always say that, and everybody always surprises me. So let's see. Type it in the chat so I'll know, and it's recorded there, what you think is number one. Number 19 comes to us from a fellow named Boy George. His band's called Culture Club, and the song's called Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? Taken from their 1982 album Kissing to Be Clever, this breakthrough track was Culture Club's first major success. The song rose rapidly on the world charts after Culture Club's first appearance on the British TV music program Top of the Pops, the one I was just talking about. This appearance on Top of the Pops resulted in Boy George making worldwide headlines over his androgynous style of sexual ambiguity. This heightened popularity helped the song spike to the top of the charts in Austria, Belgium, Switzerland, Denmark, Sweden, France, Ireland, Australia, Canada, and the UK. Easy to see why the number 19 song comes to us from a band that was huge as a band in the 1980s, Culture Club. And this song, their best. The only other one that could compete with this would be Karma Chameleon, but what a terrible song. Never liked it. This one's great. Do You Really Want to Hurt Me comes in at number 19, Culture Club. Okay, let's keep moving along here with song number 18. Once I take a little drink, I do have a drink here somewhere. One sec, I need my drink. Yeah, it's just all this talking and stuff, you know. You guys are getting to know how I like to yap. Okay, let's move on to song number 18. Number 18 comes to us from the late David Bowie, and it's called Let's Dance. Recorded in the early 80s, this Bowie track blends a unique mix of rock, funk, dance, new wave, and post-disco. The lyrics within describe a couple who are dancing under the moonlight while possessing a sense of peril. Over the years, this song has been covered, sampled, remixed, and performed by many other artists. This song has also made its share of appearances in various films, video games, and TV commercials. Let's Dance topped the charts in many countries, including Spain, Belgium, the Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, New Zealand, UK, and America. It would go on to become the biggest single of David Bowie's career. Coming in at number 18 on DJ Ray's greatest music goat for the greatest 80s song of all time. Number 18 goes to David Bowie and Let's Dance. And with that, just another reminder, I'm DJ Ray. I do this show live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. called Music Goats, standing for the greatest of all time in different music categories. Tonight's category is the greatest 80s song of all time. So far, I've given you 3 of them. Number 20 was... Can you guys hear me okay out there? Okay, so yeah. Number 20 was Tainted Love Soft Cell. Number 19 was Do You Really Want to Hurt Me by Culture Club. And number 18, Let's Dance by David Bowie. So that brings us to song number 17, which comes to us from Kenny Loggins. Oh, nice pick, Ange. Forgot about U2. Don't forget about U2, guys. Big band in the 80s. Number 17. Number 17 goes to Kenny Loggins and Footloose. Released in January of 1984, the song Footloose spent 3 weeks in the number 1 spot on Billboard's Hot 100 chart. It also topped the music charts in South Africa, Colombia, Peru, New Zealand, Australia, and Canada. In 1985, this single was nominated for an Academy Award as Best Original Song. Footloose. In 2011, Blake Shelton recorded his own version of Footloose, which had decent success, landing on both the Canadian and American mainstream and country music charts. In 2018, Kenny Loggins' version of Footloose was selected for preservation into the National Recording Registry by the Library of Congress. And had some good energy to it, eh? Probably one of the better sweat dance songs. Remember 20-minute workout in the 80s, guys? You know, like this one would make you sweat, Footloose. So, yeah, it's not about the song that makes you sweat the most. It's about the just overall best song of the 80s. And I can't help but think of the 80s when I think of Footloose. And it comes in at number 17 on DJ Ray's greatest songs, greatest 80s songs of all time. Okay. Yeah, good movie too. You're right. Excellent. How's it going? Porch up. Excellent, guys. If you're just arriving, please feel free to type in what you think is the number one 80s song ever from January 1st, 1980 to December 31st, 1989. Anything in that era or close there. I don't expect that you'll know the actual dates, but I'm sure you guys got some 80s bombs up your sleeve. So type it in the chat, right down there. Yeah, type it in. And let's see who knows their 80s music the best. We're going to get to that number one song very shortly. But right now it's number 16. Cyndi Lauper, Miss Colorful, and Girls Just Want to Have Fun. It was this particular Cyndi Lauper song that caught the world's attention in 1983. It topped the charts in many countries, including Chile, Peru, Norway, Japan, New Zealand, Australia, and Canada. In 1999, MTV acknowledged the greatness of this song by adding it to their list of the 100 greatest videos ever made. Several years later, in 2006, VH1 included Girls Just Want to Have Fun to their list of the 100 greatest songs of the 1980s. By January of 2022, the music video for Girls Just Want to Have Fun surpassed 1 billion views on YouTube just a couple years ago. That's pretty impressive. People still like Cyndi. She's really aged well, eh? She's like much older than me. I think she's like, isn't she like in her late 60s, early 70s? But, you know, she really aged well. Cyndi Lauper comes in at number 16 on DJ Ray's greatest 80s song ever, which brings me to number 15. I was a little surprised by this one. It was a huge hit, and the band was quite big in the 80s, but I don't know why. I just was a little surprised when I did my research that I do. And sometimes I surprise myself. Men at Work comes in at number 15 with the song Down Under. Okay, released in 1981, this unique retro track was recorded by Australian pop rock band Men at Work. Led by lead vocalist Colin Hay, this song flew to number one on music charts all around the world, including Canada, the UK, and the US. The lyrics within depict an Australian man traveling around the globe and meeting people who are interested in his home country. It's based in part on singer Colin Hay's own personal experiences. In 2024, Australian radio network Triple M named Down Under, get this, as the greatest song of all time. Now, there might be a little partialness there, being an Australian radio station, and it's an amazing song, but I don't know what planet this would be the greatest song of all time. So yeah, there's some favoritism. Thanks for the gift, Ange. A little rose, guys. Oh, look at them coming. Mountain Mom. Wow. Loving the love. Loving the love. So number 15 on DJ Ray's greatest 80s song of all time goes to Men at Work and Down Under. Take a sip before we get to song number 14. Everybody doing okay tonight? Oh, see, my sister and I think alike, eh? She just threw that out there a couple minutes ago. I just found out there's like a 10 or 15 second delay between what I say and what you guys hear. Makes sense now that there's been times when I've asked questions and it just seems like everybody's, huh? I get it now. Thanks for the gift. Okay, guys, let's carry on. I'm DJ Ray. I do this every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. sharp, live on TikTok and now Facebook. Let's check my Facebook feed. Just started that one, so still working on that one. You know, so if you guys ever want to see me on, use Facebook instead of TikTok, that's fine too. Either one's good. Song number 14. Greatest 80s song of all time goes to UB40 and Red Red Wine. Not sure if you guys knew this, but originally released in 1967 by American singer Neil Diamond, the lyrics within Red Red Wine are written from the perspective of a man who discovers how red wine can be used as a vessel to forget all his problems. How true. Neil Diamond himself has stated that UB40's version of his song stands out as one of his favorite covers from any of his songs. In 1983, when UB40 released their own slightly sped up and reggae-infused version, it became an international hit in countries like South Africa, Ireland, the UK, Canada, and America. What makes UB40's version so unique is the fact that it has become synonymous with being one of the best reggae songs ever recorded. Till this very day, more than 40 years later, after its release, this song would still be one of my go-to reggae tracks whenever I DJ. People don't get tired of it. It's just one of those, and I've got a great remix of it, so they get even less tired of it. The only thing I think people get tired of is the same sound, so if you put it in the studio and remix it a bit, but keep the integrity of the song. That's important for us, let's just say more mature, fans of music. So it's important to keep the integrity, but heighten the beat a bit more and stuff like that. Song number 14, a big one, goes to UB40 and Red Red Wine. Alrighty, we're getting there, guys. We're on my lucky number now, number 13. And I believe, with the exception of the David Bowie song, that this is my first rock song. I don't know if that Let's Dance by David Bowie really is a true rock song. You know, it's got so many different... This is a true rock song. Number 13 comes to us from Bon Jovi, and it's called Living on a Prayer. Released in 1986, this power rock track received heavy rotation on MTV, which helped propel it to become a #1 hit in the US. It was also a chart topper in Norway, New Zealand, and Canada. The lyrics within are loosely based on real-life events that John Bon Jovi and songwriter Desmond Child experienced in the 1970s together. In 2006, online voters placed Livin' on a Prayer at #1 on VH1's list of the 100 greatest songs of the 1980s. And in 2021, Rolling Stone magazine included this rock classic on their list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. On February 1st, 2023, the video for this song reached 1 billion views on YouTube, which was the band's second song to do so. Of course, I'm talking about song number 13, Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. What do you think so far, guys? Are these pretty big 80s songs? I haven't even got to the top 10 yet, so it's going to get heated here. So let's continue with song number 12. Comes to us from ex-Righteous Brother. Remember the Righteous Brothers from the 60s? Ex-Righteous Brother, part of the duo, Bill Medley, and Jennifer Warnes. So it comes from the iconic 80s movie Dirty Dancing. You remember that movie? This song topped the charts in several countries around the world, including Belgium, the Netherlands, South Africa, and the US. Overall, this song has racked up a number of accolades, including the Academy Award and Golden Globe Award for Best Original Song. It also won the Grammy Award for Best Pop Performance by a Duo with Vocals. Yeah, this movie, Dirty Dancing, in the 80s, might possibly have been the biggest movie of the 80s. And if it wasn't the biggest, it's got to be in the top 10. We recently did top movie soundtracks, picking songs from movies, and that was pretty interesting, that one there. But Dirty Dancing was right up there on that particular night as well. So coming in at number 12, Jennifer Warnes, Bill Medley from the movie Dirty Dancing, I've Had the Time of My Life. big at weddings. I noticed to this very day, whenever I do a wedding, it's always a go-to. I'm not a big fan of it personally, but it's loved. Number 12, I've had the time of my life. Okay, number 11. I'm a little surprised by this one too. I really thought before I did my research here and tweaking and stuff that this could have arguably been in the top 3, but it's coming in at number 11, and deservedly so. And it's called When Doves Cry by the artist formerly known, you got it, as Prince. This song was the lead single from Prince's 1984 iconic album, Purple Rain, topping the music charts in Australia, Canada, and the US. The music video for this track was sparked by controversy due to its explicit sexual nature. Tell me it isn't so, Prince. Prince being sexy. It's funny how times change, compared to the extremities taken by artists today. I would say that in today's term, this racy video, as they call it, could probably be scheduled within the Sunday morning cartoon block for children. Actually, do they even do Sunday morning cartoons anymore? Anyways, the song When Doves Cry became Prince's first number 1 single in the US. And according to Billboard, it was the top-selling single of 1984. In 1985, this signature Prince track won the American Music Award for Favorite Black Single. Following Prince's death in 2016, this song recharted at number 8 in the US, making its first appearance in the American top 10 in over 40 years. So yeah, it didn't even make the top 10, eh? Like, to me, that's Prince's biggest song. It was his breakthrough, his first number 1. Excuse me. It set the precedence for that album Purple Rain and the movie. But yeah, it's still pretty impressive, but I'm just surprised it's not in the top 10. Coming in at number 11, When Doves Cry by Prince. Yeah, Darling Nikki was a great song, and she never made the radio really, though it wasn't ever charted. But there was a few songs that, like the Beautiful Ones. Do you remember that one? That was amazing. Again, didn't make the charts. A lot of Prince's stuff. It's kind of like the Grateful Dead. It would do so well with fans, but not make the charts. Now, different from the Grateful Dead, Prince has a lot of songs that made the charts, like this one, number 11, When Doves Cry by Prince. Okay, we're into the top 10, guys. And it's not too late for you to pick what you think is the number 1 all-time 80s song. Okay? We've had a bunch of nice picks so far. You can look back in the comments to see if you're not picking somebody else's if you like, or pick somebody else's. You still got it right. So, yeah. Type in the comments who you think had the biggest song. I hope I didn't say artist. Who had the biggest 80s songs. We're looking for the song. Okay? JT's got Purple Rain in there. Yeah, and like I said, that was When Doves Cry. So, could be another Prince song on here too. Who knows? Okay, let's break the top 10, guys, with song number 10 on DJ Ray's greatest 80s music of all time. Number 10 goes to a duo known as Wham, and it's called Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Released in 1984 from the album Make It Big, the inspiration for writing this song was a scribbled note that bandmate Andrew Ridgeley left for George Michael's parents. It was intended to read, Wake Me Up Before You Go. But Ridgeley wrote the word go twice, and well, the rest is music history. This up-tempo party track became the duo's first Canadian and US number 1 hit. It also topped the music charts in Ireland, Belgium, the Netherlands, Paraguay, Australia, and the UK, to name just a few. The music video for this song features George Michael and bandmate Andrew Ridgeley wearing oversized t-shirts with the words Choose Life written on the front. This eventually started a craze that was covered in the VH1 series, I Love the 80s. VH1 would go on to list this Wham track as one of the 100 greatest songs of the 1980s. Yeah, I remember those t-shirts, Choose Life, and I remember at the time, I thought I remember this was when Wham first came out, so I just thought it was goofy. I didn't really like that song at first. It really grew on me after a while. Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. But I couldn't for the life of me figure out what Choose Life meant. Duh, you know. So, yeah, it just shows how politically conscious I was back in the early mid-'80s. Having way too much fun is what I was doing. So, anyway, coming in at number 10, the duo known as Wham, the late George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley. Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Bring me to the number 9 song. This one surprised me a little bit too, even though it was huge. I didn't think it was this huge, but great song. And from an amazing artist, one of my favorites. So, number 9, I give the nod to Olivia Newton-John and Let's Get Physical. This iconic 1980s track was an immediate smash hit upon its release in 1981. It was a number 1 chart topper in Belgium, Switzerland, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and the US. In total, Let's Get Physical spent an incredible 10 consecutive weeks at number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100, which tied the record of most consecutive weeks at the top spot. In spite of the controversy that arose over the implied sexual content within the music video, this track became Billboard's most successfully charted song throughout the entire 1980s. Some of the accolades received by this track include a Grammy Award for Video of the Year and a Billboard Award for Top Single. Ultimately, it was this song that helped cement Olivia Newton-John's legacy as a bona fide pop superstar. Coming in at number 9, Olivia Newton-John and Let's Get Physical. I love that video. What guy didn't? It's like a take of, I don't know if you guys remember, I remember getting all these 80s flashbacks, Rubik's Cube and all this stuff, you know, and I just remember the 20-minute workout and Olivia Newton-John's video for Let's Get Physical kind of takes from that. I don't know if you guys remember that 20-minute work. It was kind of a dumb show, but man, I was addicted. Didn't have anything like that back in those days. Nowadays, you turn on a 20-minute workout. But that's the progression of the world today. Okay, so yeah, number 9 goes to Olivia Newton-John. Let's Get Physical. With that, a quick reminder that I am DJ Ray. I'm here every Tuesday night live at 8 p.m. with my show, DJ Ray's Music Goats. Basically, what the show is about is the greatest of all time in various music categories. Tonight's category, I want to find out what the greatest 80s song, 1980s song of all time is. And there's so many to choose from because it was a fruitful era for music. So it's going to be hard to pick this, but there's still time if you want to type in who you think, what you think is the number 1 80s song of all time. Type it in. Let's see how much you know your 80s music. All right, let's carry on with song number 8 in our attempt to find the greatest 80s song ever. And this one comes to us from the late Irene Cara and Flashdance, What a Feeling. Taken from the 1983 film Flashdance, this track spent 6 weeks at number 1 in the US, while also topping the charts in countries like Japan, South Africa, Denmark, Norway, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, New Zealand, Australia, and Canada. Whew, I'm tired. Flashdance won the Academy Award and Golden Globe for Best Original Song, while also earning Irene Cara the Grammy Award for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. Thank you for the gifts. I love it. You guys are great. In 2023, Flashdance What a Feeling was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Recording Registry. So, Irene Cara really just had those 2 hits, Flashdance, which was her top one, and just before this one, a year or 2 before, she had that song Fame. I want to live forever, you know that one. This song, Irene Cara herself didn't have, if it was top artists of the 80s, Irene Cara, I don't think would even make it close on the top 20 because there's so many great artists. But if it's going with greatest songs of the 1980s, this one was definitely one of the greats. Coming in at number 8 on DJ Ray's greatest 80s song of all time, it's Irene Cara, I don't know how to say that, with Flashdance. Okay, what are we doing in the chat room over here? Everybody having a good time? I loving the presents you guys are sending me. And who wrote Richard Simmons? 20-minute workout. Yeah, he had a pretty interesting workout himself, didn't he? Okay, perfect. Okay. Morning Thunderbird has Like a Prayer by Madonna. Did everybody forget Madonna? Maybe Duran Duran, Hungry Like a Wolf. There's another band. Anybody, good job, Morning Thunderbird. We'll get back to you in a couple more minutes and see who is the winner, if anybody. Okay, number 7. Greatest 80s song of all time goes to Human League and Don't You Want Me. At the forefront of the UK's second British invasion, which took place in the early 1980s, Human League stood tall as a frontrunner in the new wave movement that suddenly hit North America. In November 1983, Rolling Stone magazine named it the breakthrough song of the second British invasion. It was actually this particular song, Don't You Want Me, that helped romanticize this new charge. It would go on to rank at number 1 on music charts around the world, including Israel, Norway, Canada, the UK, and the US, just to name a few. Basically, it was the best-selling UK single of the year in 1981, and in November 1983, Rolling Stone magazine ranked it on their list of the 200 greatest dance songs of all time. Song number 7, part of the British second new wave, goes to new wave band, the Human League, Don't You Want Me. Hi, Debbie, how are you? Thanks for saying hi. And, yes, I remember Angie used to have a big crush on John Taylor. He was a good-looking guy for a bass player. Probably with the exception of Gene Simmons, the busiest. Anyway, we'll leave that alone. There's nothing good that comes out of mentioning Gene Simmons' name. Where sex might be involved. Anyway, let's carry on and get my mind out of the gutter. Okay, so song number 7 was Don't You Want Me. So let's just recap the last few songs at number 10. Song number 10, greatest 80s song of all time, goes to Wham! And Wake Me Up Before You Go. Song number 9 goes to Olivia Newton-John and Let's Get Physical. Song number 8, the late Irene Cara with Flashdance. And song number 7 goes to the Human League and Don't You Want Me. Which takes me to song number 6. And this one is by a rocker chick. Yeah, there's another rock song. Her name's Joan Jett. The song's called I Love Rock and Roll. Originally written and recorded by British rock band The Arrows, I Love Rock and Roll was initially released in July of 1975. However, it was Joan Jett's 1981 rendition that took this tune to a completely higher level. She first recorded it in 1979 alongside 2 members of the Sex Pistols, Steve Jones and Paul Cook. It was an instant success, rising to the number 1 spot on music charts everywhere, including South Africa, Ireland, Sweden, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and the US. Billboard magazine ranked Joan Jett's version at number 56 on its list of the greatest songs of all time. And in 2004, Rolling Stone magazine included it on their list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Coming in at number 6, Joan Jett takes it with I Love Rock and Roll. And I'm going to tell you something. Of all these songs I've said here, and there's been some powerful ones, I really think over the years of DJing, the most go-to song in general of the ones I've said so far, but I'm not done, would be I Love Rock and Roll. I mean, ridiculous how every generation knows the song, been brought up with the song, and will request the song. So it's a timeless tune. Number 6, greatest 80s song of all time, I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett. quick drink before we step into the top 5. And song number 5. You guys remember the Dexys Midnight Runners? Well, they come in at number 5 with Come On Eileen. Yeah, Morning Thunderbird, those are some good Canadian selections, by the way. Alana Miles, Sass Jordan, and the Headpins, all Canadians. I don't know if any of them are big enough to be on this list. I will tell you, though, Alana Miles would be close with that song Black Velvet. It did chart well in the U.S., but I don't know how well it charted around the world, and it wouldn't make it quite on this list. But amazing song, amazing Canadian artist. Sass Jordan's another one. So are the Headpins. Good choices. You guys know your Canadiana. Okay, so number 5, Come On Eileen by the Dexys Midnight Runners. According to lead singer Kevin Rowland, there was actually no real Eileen. In fact, she was composite, making a point about Catholic repression. That said, Come On Eileen was ranked as Britain's #1 single of 1982. And in 1983, it won the Brit Award for Best Single. With all the extensive airplay that Come On Eileen received, Dexys Midnight Runners are often associated with the second British invasion that took place in the early 80s. I think I mentioned that once or twice. Upon release, this retro party track went on to become a #1 hit internationally in countries like South Africa, Ireland, Belgium, Switzerland, New Zealand, Australia, the UK, and America. Hi, Sarah. There's lots going on in here. You got to stick around. We're going to crown in literally 5 or 10 minutes the top #1 greatest 80s song of all time. I hope you like 80s music. With that, a reminder, I'm DJ Ray. This is my show Music Goats, which basically stands for the greatest of all time in different music categories. Every week we change up the category. I do this every Tuesday at 8 p.m. live on TikTok or Facebook, your choice. Hi, Lee, and Facebook there. I see my cousin Lee on Facebook. I don't know if Ange is jumping back and forth. I heard her say, hi, Ange, but I don't see her over there. Where was I here? That said, Come On Eileen was ranked as Britain's #1 single of 1982, and it won the Brit Award for Best Single in 1983. Upon release, this retro party track topped the charts in many countries internationally, and I think I mentioned this already, so we'll just skip by and say that song number 5 on DJ Ray's greatest 80s song of all time, Come On Eileen by Dexys Midnight Runners. And if they didn't have such a hard name to remember, they probably would even be higher. If I had a nickel for every time a person come up, can you sing that? Can you play that Eileen song from blah, 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 and it was always a different, an Eileen song, when it first coming out and stuff, you're not really putting it together, but, and the best thing is when people come up to the DJ booth and start singing it for you. First of all, the music's blasting, which might be a good thing because it kind of tones down all the pitchiness. But the life of a DJ, it's not as glorious as you may think. Song number 5, Dexys Midnight Runners, Come On Eileen, which takes me to number 4. And I don't think anybody mentioned this girl. Let me just see something. I'll tell you one thing right now. Nobody has guessed the #1 song, which I might be able to understand, but I can't understand missing the #2 song. And nobody's got that either. Of course, Sarah, I'll send it to me. Just send it to me. If you need an email or something, just let me. I'll let you know what it is. Okay, but for sure. In the Air Tonight from Morning Thunderbird by Phil Collins. Coming in at number 4 is the late, great Whitney Houston and the song I Want to Dance with Somebody. Recorded in 1986 by the late Whitney Houston, this song truly represents the carefree attitude of Americans during a welcome period of prosperity. It became a worldwide success, reaching number one in 18 countries, including Greece, Italy, Spain, Germany, Canada, the UK, and of course the US. In 1988, I Want to Dance with Somebody won the AMA for Favorite Pop Single. And that same year, Whitney Houston also won the Grammy Award for Best Pop Vocal Performance Female. In 2021, Rolling Stone magazine added this single to their updated list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. And in 2023, Billboard magazine ranked it as the number one track on their list of the 500 best pop songs of all time. That's pretty good. When Billboard says you're the number one song. Pop song. That's pretty good. Well, I don't have her quite at number one, but I'd say number four is pretty impressive of all the 80s. And it goes to Whitney Houston. And the song is I Want to Dance with Somebody, which I understand my years of DJing. I DJed a lot in the 80s. I played that song a lot in the 80s and beyond. But Whitney Houston has so many more better tracks than that one, in my opinion. To me, she's a ballad queen, and her biggest songs are, ballads. Okay. I'm just looking back again, just to see. And I'm noticing as I'm looking back here, what does that say there? JT, I would maybe play the song. I did that before and I got a warning from TikTok about it. So I'm just a little hesitant, but I'm working on some things. So or maybe I'll just get ballsy and do it anyway. What happened to that rebel in me? I will say, looking through here, somebody did pick the number 2 song. Okay, but still, nobody's picked number 1. Okay, so number 4 was I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston. Number 3 is another female you may have heard of. Her name's Madonna, and the song's called Like a Prayer. Released on March 3rd, 1989, this iconic track was Madonna's crowning jewel, and I dare say her signature a hit amongst many signatures. The lyrics within contain liturgical words, but they have been interpreted by some people to have dual meanings of both religion and sexual innuendos. Knowing Madonna the way we do, my money's on the latter. If it wasn't exactly Madonna's signature hit, it was certainly her most popular throughout the 80s. Its dominance on the world music charts is proven with its collection of number ones in over 20 countries worldwide. And I'm not going to begin to name them all. At the 1989 MTV Video Music Awards show, Like a Prayer won in Video of the Year category. In a 2011 poll by Billboard magazine, the video for Like a Prayer was voted as the second best music video of the 1980s decade, just behind Michael Jackson's Thriller. So, according to Billboard magazine, at least the video of Michael Jackson is number 1. And the video for Like a Prayer Madonna is number 2. And the song from Madonna's Like a Prayer is number 3 on DJ Ray's Music Countdown. So there you have it, song number 3. Okay, top 2. And I'll tell you, I still haven't seen, I didn't see last week's either, and it turned out somebody did guess it. And you'll be really surprised with some songs. Okay, like I'm going to blow it here and say one of the songs that's not. My sister Ange wrote down, Don't Stop Believing, okay? It's not because it's a rock song, because I had Joan Jett on there, Bon Jovi. Believe it or not, the song Don't Stop Believing, as iconic as it is, it never did well in the charts, at least at the beginning, and it only got big in the latter years, and now it's probably, if you're to ask most Gen Z or even millennials or maybe even Gen X what the greatest song of Journey is, and did the best, they would say Don't Stop Believing. But in actuality, I believe it was a song called Open Arms, a ballad. So, yeah, that's a great choice, Ange, but believe it or not, it doesn't even come close to making this chart because it's more of a cult-like song, one that a lot of songs grow like a fine wine, and 10 years later something happens and it makes it hot again, like La Bamba by Los Lobos. Originally was done by Richie Valens, and 25 years later they come out with it and it's hot again, so it's like that sort of thing. Now in the case of Don't Stop Believing, it wasn't a remake or anything, it was the original song just got hot again. Probably the best of all time is Mariah Carey's At Christmas Time, that one, All I Want for Christmas Is You. That one came out in the early 90s, and every year for the past several years, right around Christmas time, it spikes to number one. Like, that's very unique for a song to do that. Anyway, wasted a lot of time here. It's time to jump into the top two now. Okay. Another great tune, Morning Thunderbird, Bob Seger, Turn the Page. I even like the Metallica version of that, but nothing beats the Bob Seger one. Number two. You may remember this guy. Yeah, sure, he passed away about a decade or so ago, but his name's Michael Jackson. A name that's going to be synonymous in the annals of time, at least where music's concerned. And the song, if I didn't mention it already, is called Billie Jean. Released on January 3rd, 1983, from the historic Thriller album. This single blends a smooth mix of post-disco, R&B, funk, and dance. The lyrics within describe a woman named Billie Jean who claims that Michael is the father of her newborn son, which he denies. The video for this legendary track introduced a number of Michael Jackson's signatures, including the rhinestone glove, the high water pants, and of course, his famed moonwalk. That's been attempted by many people, but not quite as good as the way he does it. And I'm certainly not going to illustrate it. Billie Jean topped the music charts in 11 different countries around the world, including Italy, Spain, Canada, the UK, and America, to name a few. At the 1984 Grammy Awards, Billie Jean earned Michael Jackson the award for Best R&B Song. Now, when you think about this song, I was talking about Joan Jett earlier, a song that you can just play forever. This is another one of those ones. It doesn't matter. It's that infectious beat and bass line, and his signature oohs here and there. It's just something about that song that people never get sick of. And I'll be honest, I get sick of a lot of songs that I used to love just for the sheer fact of playing them too much. But I don't even get sick of this one. So Billie Jean, Michael Jackson comes in at number 2. Which brings us to number 1, and I stumped you this week. I'm pretty sure this time. Oh, Blue Rodeo, another Canadian. Hey, I love all the Canadians in here, kind of keeping all the Canadian music alive. This next one isn't Canadian. Unfortunately, I don't know if we had any Canadians on here or not. Or did we? Maybe we did. I can't recall. Anyway, let's get that drum roll for the number 1 song. You guys ready? Okay. The number 1 80s song in the history of 80s music from January 1st, 1980 to December 31st, 1989. Maybe a touch of a surprise for you, but this is one of those songs that was huge in the 80s and just seemed to get bigger. At least the last 20 years, people love it. And when you add some of the stats with it, you'll see why it's number 1. The number 1 80s song of all time comes to us from Rick Astley, and it's called Never Gonna Give You Up. And the funny thing about this song is if we were to do this chart 10 or 20 years ago, it probably wouldn't be. It just keeps aging well. Released in July 1987, this popular 80s tune was the UK's best-selling single of the year. It topped the charts in multiple countries around the world, including Spain, Italy, Greece, Canada, the UK, and America, to name just a few. In 1988, it won the Brit Award for Best Single. And in July 2021, the music video for this track surpassed 1 billion views on YouTube. It currently stands at approximately 1.5 billion views as of the present day. So get that, eh? So in 2021, July 2021, so halfway through 2021, I guess we can say that's 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, this video surpassed 1 billion. And 4 years later, that was for the entire history since it was released in 87. Well, I guess it can't really go back that far because YouTube wasn't even invented yet. So regardless of how you slice it, since 2021, this video's gained another 500 million views as of now. So, and who knows, as we speak, it might be up to 1.7 billion. I think it's pretty safe to say that that's a good choice. I would have, prior to making this list, I probably would have put Billie Jean at number one. But after doing my research and everything, it is Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. No way, Paul. You don't agree with that one? Paul, are you talking about the or are we talking about something else? I just timed in and said Teddy, yeah, you guessed quite a few actually. I thought it was more than 4 of the top 20. But it didn't get number one. Nobody got number one. DJ Ray's the champ tonight. Never Gonna Give You Up. Rick Astley comes in at number one. So as I start to, just let me just do one thing really quick here. And I know it's getting kind of late there, so I got to wrap things up. But I just want to mention some honorable mentions really quick. Because like I said before, Darren, there's just so many. So I'll just say them really quickly. There's Ghostbusters, Ray Parker Jr., I Want to Know What Love Is, Foreigner, Another Day in Paradise, Phil Collins, Heaven is a Place on Earth, Belinda Carlisle, Every Breath You Take, The Police, The Reflex, Duran Duran, She Drives Me Crazy, Fine Young Cannibals, Lady in Red, Krista Berg, Venus, Bananarama, a remake, but still, Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, a lot, eh? Uptown Girl by Billy Joel, West End Girls by Pet Shop Boys, Call Me by Blondie, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, one of my favorites, by Tears for Fears, Caribbean Queen by Billy Ocean, What's Love Got to Do with It, Tina Turner, Jump by Van Halen, Another One Bites the Dust by Queen, All Night Long by Lionel Richie, Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield, and Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. We could have easily done the top 50. All great songs, eh? So thanks for joining me. Just before I let you go, I want to remind you that next week, Tuesday, April 8th at 8 p.m. right here on TikTok or Facebook Live, we're going to be doing the greatest country band of all time. Now, a couple months ago, we did the greatest country singer. So now we're looking for bands, Brooks and Dunn. I guess you could say Blue Rodeo is a bit of a country band, but I don't know if they would make this list. Alabama, Lone Star. There's lots of them, lots and lots of them out there. So I'm going to be crowning the greatest country band of all time. Yes, good night, Mom. Have a good one. Thanks for coming, as always. So yeah, April 8th, the greatest country band of all time. And with that, be sure and check me out on social media. I'm on most of the major platforms, and you can easily find me by typing in DJ Ray's Music. That's it. Alternately, you can also check out my website at djraysmusic.com. So that wraps it up for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed all these 80s. And I hope you'll join me again next Tuesday. Same bad time, same bad channel, right here on TikTok or Facebook at 8 p.m. live next Tuesday, April 8th. And I'll crown the greatest country band of all time. Thanks again. Thanks for the gifts. Thanks for the support, guys. And enjoy the rest of your evening.